Howdy, folks. My name's Andy, and I will be your resident drink slinger for this journey we are fixing to go on together as you have found yourself at this week's episode of Truth Shots, where we serve it up to you straight, no chaser. And, well, to start us off, has anybody else noticed how fucking hot it is outside? I don't know if that's coming from all the missiles that we seem to be lobbing up into the air and burning through every single thing we got, or all the cash that all the parents are having to spend as we get back into school and it's just burning a hole in their fucking pockets. This week is going to be our back to school episode, and we got a whole lot to get into as far as the cost there. And then just to swing it on around, we got some shots to fire at a certain, well, You'll figure this one out later, but he might have fired one or two of them himself. We're going to have a shots fired for old Chud the Builder as he has gotten himself out of jail. And if you don't know who the fuck I'm talking about, God, I am envious of you. And finally, we're going to have a nice little sit down with a good friend of mine by the name of That Weird Gecko Guy, where we essentially just have one of the best FaceTime conversations you could probably ever have with a buddy of yours. It's a little bit different than a normal flow of things around here, but I think you'll enjoy it. Now, if you will, please strap on in, because I got some stuff I need y'all to see. Alrighty, folks, welcome to Shots Fired, our weekly look at the worst the internet has to offer to us, particularly from the far right. And this week's guest of honor is fresh out of a Tennessee jail after 3 months on the inside on $1 million bond. Dalton Etherly, better known as Chud the Builder, or as I like to call him, Chudder Bob, is a free man again. So let's talk about what got us here.
Shots fired.
Okay, now before we get started, I know some of you that are not terminally online, or at least don't spend a lot of time on the short form socials, may be asking yourself, who the fuck is Chud the Builder? And honestly, friends, I envy you because I know way too much about him, and everything I have found out has been against my will. But real quick, we'll give you a refresher course, or a catch-up, if you will. You see, Chudley, Dalton, probably Dalton. He probably doesn't like being called Dalton. Poor little Dalton got himself a following on this here internet by going around and harassing black people. That's literally it. He would put his little camera on and go out in downtown Nashville and find people of color and start spouting off slurs. And, well, as it always will be, this was a problem. And as people like this always do, it usually ended up with him running back to his vehicle, grabbing bear mace, and spraying folks while pretending to be a big deal. What this culminated in, and why you should, I guess, care about it, is the fact that he ended up shooting somebody after calling his shot on internet, mind you, in front of a courthouse while on trial for doing these types of activities. You know, I think we do actually have a clip of that, so if I could please.
Viral video circulating online purports to show the chaotic aftermath of a racist streamer allegedly shooting a black man outside a Tennessee courthouse.
Now, what we don't have is actual footage of the shot, kind of, thankfully, because I don't think anybody needs to see that. But what you just saw was the aftermath there as they had to split the two men up. Now, the reason I call him Chudder Bob, all of you 8 Mile fans are already knowing exactly where this is going, is in an effort to murder the man that he shot, he also managed to shoot himself. And I don't know about y'all, but quite frankly, I will always be a fan of instant karma. Now, while you can't see it here, you know, because of that stupid look on his face and the fact that he had finally shut the fuck up for once, probably because the shock of what he'd done finally set in and, you know, wouldn't be seeing the free world for quite some time, witnesses on the ground say that he could still be heard screaming dumb shit like random gun laws and "this was all planned against me" into the ether, like it was actually going to stop him from having to face the consequences of his own actions. Actions, mind you, that left disabled veteran Joshua Fox shot 5 times and landed his ass on that stretcher in the first place. Of course, little Dalton couldn't be the only clown at this circus. A week later at the bond hearing for this incident, America's favorite punching bag, Jake Lang, decided to show up, make an ass of himself, and get arrested as well.
All right, take him into custody.
Thank you, Dustin. I told you, sir, you did not have a speaking role today. You decided that you wanted one for whatever reason. I don't know why, but thank you, Dustin. However, anybody on that side of the bar does not have a speaking role in any of these proceedings today.
You know, for the folks who spend so much time screaming, just comply and you'll be fine, these motherfuckers sure have a hard time following their own advice. But hey, at least we got to witness that absolutely delicious look of defeat on Jake's face as they slapped them cuffs on him. Now you may be asking yourself, why is any of this important? Why is it even worth talking about a mediocre, never has been, never will be nothing white man from Nashville who goes around harassing people of color for content? It's important because of how it's packaged. It's important because of what he planned to do with it. It's important because of the situation that he ended up finding himself in. He tries to pass this shit off as free speech advocacy, and if he's not allowed to do it, then his rights are being violated. And he's teaching young, impressionable people on the internet that this is how you are supposed to act, going as far as to tell people ahead of time exactly what he plans to do. Don't believe me? Read the shit yourself. Series finale. I'm not going to say that part on the pavement. You know what? I'm not actually reading any of that because I don't want those vile words to escape from between my lips. But you all got eyes, and, well, unless you happen to be on the right, you probably have above a 6th grade reading level, so you can figure it out. This is why I like to do this segment, because this shit is important to call out. But it's not just this. Oh, it goes so much fucking deeper than this, because it's not just who he's trying to impress his ideals upon. It's the people in the background supporting him, because that little shooting, that got him $1 million fucking bond. And just so you know, a teeny content creator who does short clips like that, well, they just ain't got no $1 million laying around to get themselves out of jail. No. This is where this shit becomes the newest classic story for these types of situations. A crypto casino decides to swoop in and post the fucking bail for him, and then, just like that lady that decided to call a kid a slur in the park, he got him his own little, not GoFundMe, show the thing. It's that other fucking place that lets the people support the white supremacists. Help the Chud and his family. GiveSendGo, those moralist motherfuckers, where they've already raised $300,000 for a racist who shot somebody for views. And don't forget the meme coin, because of fucking course there's a meme coin. Got his own little mugshot on the front of it and everything. These fucking vultures will do anything and everything for money. But that's not even the worst of it. See, if it was just Chud, well, that's one problem that could be dealt with. But this is the internet, where people feel emboldened to do the things that they see. And now we're having to deal with fucking copycats of Chud all over the country, popping up, using his favorite lingo, saying all the things that they probably never would have felt they had the balls to say in public until they saw this motherfucker be allowed to get away with it for so goddamn long. But with that, there is a little bit of a silver lining. You know, we always got to try and find those because, well, it's not always ending up for them the way they thought it would. In fact, why don't we just get a reason to smile together? Maestro, please. You love to see it. That right there is what we call a case of a bulldog mouth overloading a puppy dog ass. Let that be a lesson to any of you wannabe chuds out there. Talk shit, and you might just fuck around and get hit. And, well, we all know most people like you don't know what it's like to get hit in the face. Now, let's be honest here, folks. Does it matter what happens to our little friend Chutter Bob? Not really. Lock him up, throw away the key, make sure he never sees the light of day again. But until we stomp out the ideologies, that not only allow these people to do these things, but allow other people to support them as well, that enable people like him to run up a $300,000 GiveSendGo, or the lady who got $750,000 fucking dollars for harassing children. We are going to be right back here every month, every 6 months, year after year. He ain't the first. He won't be the last. But we can fix this. We just got to start ostracizing these people. And when they say these things and they do these things, we stand up and shut that shit down immediately. They're nothing but bullies. And, well, we all know how the old adage goes. The bully usually sits down and shuts the fuck up as soon as somebody hits them in the goddamn mouth.
Another shot fired.
Alrighty, folks, if you would please do me one favor, go ahead and strap on in, keep all hands and feet inside the ride. We are fixing to transition to one of my favorite parts of the show, where we watch some stuff together, as I lovingly like to call it. Would y'all come look at this shit? Oh, that first picture did not look good. A few times ago, we got the Asmongold jump scare. This does not bode well, folks. We just had a South African super dork on screen. I'm kind of scared. I don't remember half of what this stuff is, so producer man, would you just please surprise me with the first one?
As soon as we got together, like, she's off birth control. As soon as
we got married, yeah.
As soon as we're together, it's like no birth control, nothing, because I'm not gonna have gay sex. And like, gay sex is more than just like another man and a man. It's just like the idea of looking at sex as such a materialistic thing and just like, oh, well, like, we just have an orgasm and that's fun or whatever. No, like, dude, sex is about having children. It's about having babies.
Fellas, is it gay to have sex with your wife now? Like, fuck. Look, I know the young kids are like way more conservative than they probably ever have been or should be, but how far have we fallen off the fucking plot that they think it's fucking gay to have sex with your wife for anything other than procreation? This is red pill mixed with religious psychosis, and I will never understand it. Next, please. First question, why would you bring small children to witness such a statue of a horrifying face? And why in the fuck are we building statues for Christy Nome? I mean, she got fired for fucking on airplanes and wasting taxpayer money. Like, she is the poster child for waste, fraud, and abuse, and we're just building statues out here for her. That wasn't. Please tell me that wasn't built with public taxpayer funds. There's children there, so I'm gonna try and be as nice as I can about that one. Let's just next. Genocidal.
Dude, stop it. Hey. You can't do shit with it.
That was the smoothest referee slide I've ever seen. Shout out wrestling fan.
Thank you. You've been punched in the head, punched in the face, and you go cry your mom. Bro, don't provoke. No. It's not provoke. Just everybody do something. You guys get this guy out of here. You guys are... Get out! Get out! Get out! Bye. Stop me. Bye. Go. I'm not violent like you. You can. Hey, go. Don't provoke. You can do. Bye. Please don't.
Genocidal freak. You bumped kids, and you need two people to hold me back. Be a man.
I ain't trying to fight you, idiot. Stop. Come on. That's your husband, right? That's your husband stuffing rocks in his face.
Get away from my wife.
Stop. That's it. Look at this guy. Stuffing rocks in his fist. If he hits me. Dude. Stop. Hey.
We got action.
Stop. Listen. You saw the stop. Hey. Stop. You do something.
Okay, so we got a Republican and an IDF soldier exchanging blows. Fuck AVP. It ain't Alien versus Predator. This is just Predator versus Predator. Just, one preys on kids and the other one blows them up. Next.
Last question for you. If Democrats do take over the House, it's just going to be investigation mania. They're going to do oversight. They could impeach you again. I mean, do you think they will?
Well, a lot of people are saying I'm one of the greatest presidents ever.
They're not saying that, though.
But they know, they see the results. Look.
Yeah, nobody with more than 2 brain cells fighting for 3rd fucking place has ever uttered that sentence. Not once, not never. This is what happens when you surround yourself with nothing but yes men. You often make a fool of yourself when anybody outside of your circle hears or sees you speak. Next. It's the jump scare. Hey, you remember what I just said about 5 seconds ago about the effects of surrounding yourself with nothing but yes men? Because the South African super dork must not have a single friend in his fucking life that they let his, what we can only assume, and I'm saying this allegedly, ketamine-fueled ass strut out on a stage and do that. What the fuck was, I'm not calling that dancing. Do we have anything else? No? Cool. Well, that was, will y'all come look at this shit? I kind of wish I hadn't seen a lot of it, but hey, we got some laughs.
Truth shots.
Folks, this week we're going to do something a little different. You see, we're going to have us one of them there back to school specials because, school is no longer officially out for summer, at least for most of us. And when I had my little moment of shipping my littles off to school again this week, I had a real time stopper hit me, and I had to stop and think for a few and reflect. And, well, I kind of just want to share that moment with y'all.
Oh, back to school, back to school, back to...
Do y'all remember when the start of the school year meant new backpack, picking out the perfect first day fit, making sure your binder was set up just right and all the folders for the classes were in the right places? Math was red, science was green. Well, I hate to tell y'all this, but apparently we have fucked that up too. And if you think that, everything felt a little bit more expensive and harder to get together for your kids this year, well, you're not imagining that. According to CBS News, a typical basket of school supplies is up upwards of 8%. Lunch staples, almost 11%. Notebooks, 23%. And God forbid your kid wants a fucking Bluey lunchbox. Them motherfuckers are up nearly 27%. And the shit staining chief? Well, he ain't stopping with these tariffs that are just going to make the rest of this school year continue to get more expensive. So guess what, parents? Your first lesson of the year is economics and how the fuck we're all going to pay for this shit. According to Deloitte.com, parents are expected to spend about $577 per child just to get them started for the school year. And a survey conducted by Credit Karma has said that upwards of 45% of parents will take on debt just to do so. That's almost fucking half. Almost half of parents will have to indebt themselves for fucking pencils. And it's not just the parents either, it's the teachers too. According to adoptaclassroom.org, 2025 teachers were spending upwards of $900 of their own money for classroom supplies just to make it through, on top of what the parents are already sending in themselves. So just so we all understand, the parents are paying to send the kids to school, the teachers are paying to maintain them throughout the year, and everybody's getting squeezed here except the fucking corporations, which are recording record profit like they always do. And that's just supplies. We haven't even talked about one of the hottest topics and what shouldn't even be a fucking debate in the first place, lunch. You know, the thing that makes Republicans quake in their boots if they think a single child will ever get for free. Yeah, did you know that upwards of 35,000 students in Houston alone are set to potentially lose their free or reduced lunch benefits this year because of the shit stain in Chiefs cuts to SNAP? That really screams America first and protecting the kids, doesn't it? And it's not just financial, y'all. There's extra mental costs this year, too. It's not just the normal paperwork that we're all used to filling out, you know, the contact forms, the emergency plan, allergies, and medication. No, some schools are also having to have parents fill out what happens if we get picked up by ICE forms. You know, that's exactly what's going to be conducive to a kid's learning environment, having to worry about what's going to happen when they get home if mom and dad just aren't fucking there anymore. But hey, if you're from Texas, at least y'all can say your school's found a way to come up with some money, about $60 per student actually, if they signed up for a little program called Blue Bonnet Learning, or as I like to call it, Bible lessons meant to give your kids religious trauma before they even start the first grade, because that's exactly what they need in their life. I'm sure little Timmy's going to do a great job remembering his multiplication tables in between bouts of worrying about what's going to happen to his eternal soul. You know, folks, I fear that we have well and truly lost the fucking plot. When I was a kid, you know, because of a certain event that took place at Columbine, we had to start carrying clear backpacks so they could see everything inside of them. And when I think about that now, I think about how we can't see what these kids are carrying nowadays. You know, the outward appearances, you know, you can maybe tell if money's in the picture or not, but how do you look out for the child that has no idea if they're ever going to see their parents again every time they leave their house? How do you alleviate the worries of a kid who finds out he's not even going to be fed at school anymore? How do we fix this? How do we go about taking the steps to make sure that our children at least get a modicum of the quality of carefree life that we had? Because while we could see, again, everything in that clear backpack when I was a kid, there's just no way that we could measure the weight of what these kids are carrying around nowadays. Well, quite frankly, the thought of my child coming home and telling me that one of their best friends just stopped showing up to school anymore, and me as a parent knowing it was because of where their parents were born or any other random fucking lottery pool of life that can happen to you caused it, I don't know how I'm going to handle that. I don't know what to tell them other than sometimes bad things happen to good people. Welcome to the start of the school year, folks. Hopefully all of us will learn a lesson this time around. It's an open book test. Let's not fail it.
Truth shots.
Alrighty, folks. Now, we've had a real quick audible we had to pull. Originally, I had another guest who was a little bit more on topic for the things that we have talked about today, but life happens, and, you know, sometimes we just got to switch things up. So, I reached into the old Rolodex there and called a buddy of mine who could be here on short notice. So, what you are fixing to witness is essentially just me shooting the shit with a real good buddy of mine who's been in this whole resistance game for a long ass time. So if you would please give it up for my pal, That Weird Gecko Guy. Is one of my, again, favorite people on the internet that I met through this content creation thing. He's another one of them there TikTokers with me. That's how we met. And he's also just like a cool ass nerd. We hang out and talk almost every day on this here interwebs, and I wanted to share him with y'all. And that's kind of going to be one of the things I do with this show is share with y'all the awesome people that I have collected on my journey doing this. So, Gecko, say hi to everybody.
Hello, hello. How's everyone doing?
What you been up to, man? How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing. Nothing too noteworthy in the middle of the week, which always worries me. It always worries me when there's nothing crazy going on in the news in the middle of the week, because I feel like Friday at 5, they're going to be like, by the way, boom, see you on Monday.
I mean, that's generally how it happens. You know, it's almost weird to ask you what you've been doing or something like that, because it's been like a total of maybe 18 hours since the last time we spoke. If you happen to be on TikTok, you probably have noticed late at night, Gecko, because as his namesake runs a reptile business, and he has choring to do down in his reptile room. So he goes live on there, and then me and a bunch of our other left-leaning content creator buddies all just kind of show up and treat it like a FaceTime call, which is probably what y'all are about to get here as well. So it's really cool to have you on. So tell everybody about the reptile thing, because I think that is a really cool intro to who you are and what it is you do, and then we'll get to the other stuff here in just a little while.
Okay. So I'm going to tell a story where everyone gets to laugh at me then, if you want to know how that happened. So when how I got into this, when I was a kid, my parents told me I could have a pet, but it couldn't be a cat or a dog. They wanted a pet that was in a tank. And I told them I wanted a dinosaur, because that made sense to a little kid, right? I wanted a dinosaur.
As it would.
And then they had to explain to me what extinct was, and then I cried a lot. And then because I'm old, when I went to get the next closest thing, it was a reptile, because we thought dinosaurs and reptiles were closely related back then. And I got a snake, and it's been off to the races ever since.
Just never look back.
No, I actually don't cancel me, internet. I started breeding geckos as snake food, and then I phased the snakes out, and I kept geckos.
Well, I mean, look, nature just happens. You know, you can't be mad at the snake for eating food, and unfortunately, the gecko just happened to be on the food chain. So,
yeah, sometimes people don't love that one, but it's just the truth.
So, you know, being a full-time reptile guy, hit us with. I know the answer to this question already, but you want to tell everybody what your favorite gecko is and why?
Okay,
it is that angry little bastard.
So my favorite gecko is actually the gecko on my logo, the tokay gecko. They're my favorite because they're everything that I think people want out of a pet reptile. They're big, they're beautiful, they're bold, they're smart. You can tame them or they can stay really aggro. I do tell people all the time they're the only gecko that's ever given me stitches. But they're so beautiful and they're so interesting and their setups are really nice. Also, they are actually one of the smartest species, and they recognize their family members. Like, they form familial units, which I think is fascinating.
If you don't know what a tokay is, they're these really like awesome bright blue pretty geckos.
Huge.
But
like, this is life size for an adult male.
Yeah, they're big too. And when you feed them things like horned worms, their inner predator just comes out, and they will beat those fucking worms to death. Like, worm be halfway down its throat, and it's just doing this number, splattering bug guts everywhere. It's the wildest
that is
shit.
The viral video of the moment right now.
We're actually currently waiting on Gecko to reach into one of these containers late at night while we're on the lives, and then just see him start flopping up and down as it smashes him against the fucking cage. But you know.
Oh, if I'm live streaming and you guys hear me curse, which happens all the time when I stream, and I'm just feeding and fuck. Yep, that's what happened.
Now, see, the one that was a legitimate danger to you got rid of. You see, Gecko used to have what was Tank again? I can't remember.
A red tegu. A red tegu.
A red tegu, and these are fucking dinosaurs. It is a miniature dinosaur. Okay, and he had this one named Tank, and Tank was a fucking asshole, but I liked him And then he got rid of my buddy. I mean, he didn't get rid of my buddy, you know. He did some moving around of animals legally and morally.
Yeah, no, he's actually, he and the female that I raised up with him are at a friend's place right now. A friend of mine had more space for him for breeding, and they're at a friend's place. She laid eggs. We'll see if they're legit or not. So, because you never know until they hatch. But yeah, they went to a friend's place.
It's okay though. You might not have a Tegu named Tank anymore, but you do still have a literal walking tank in your house.
Yep, I have about a 100-pound tortoise in the basement.
Yeah, the tortoise is crazy, man. We don't get to see him a whole lot. Now, the one time he did make his TikTok debut, that was fucking phenomenal. Not too long ago, our buddy here decided he was going to make him an old rigger tortoise skit. You know, Mitch McConnell, and interviewed our buddy the tortoise, and that's some of the funniest shit I have seen on the internet in a long fucking time. I just wish he would have given us a real good turtle wheeze or tortoise wheeze or whatever.
I recorded him for half an hour to make that video, and he did not make a peep, because I definitely wanted like the tortoises do when they exhale. Didn't get it. I actually, when BBL Drizzy was going super viral and everyone was putting vocals of it, there was a real viral video.
Drizzy.
There was a real viral video where a guy was like, "You got a lizard? Put him on the mic." And I literally held the microphone. I'm like, "Tank, do you want to add to this?" And held it out. And the video was just Tank running on screen and just like wham, because he hates the existence of most things.
Well, I mean, if you were that big and that slow and going to put up with this bullshit ass world for as long as tortoises live, wouldn't you hate everything too?
Yeah, it was choice. Yeah.
So speaking of hating the world, we'll get into some real important stuff here in a minute, but I want to get some funnies at the top here. And you mentioned viral videos, and believe it or not, y'all, Gecko has a much more viral video than anything I've ever made. And it's one of my favorite stories on the internet. It has spawned side lore. We've convinced another friend to make a certain purchase out of it. Gecko, will you please regale my friends that are going to watch this with the story of your most viral video on that there interwebs?
For sure. By the way, it is not only my most viral video, it is more than double the views my second most viral video, and articles were written about it. It was also filmed in the 30 days I was demonetized when I got kicked out of the Creator Fund for using the word gecko.
Because of course it was.
100%. The comment that got me kicked out was literally geckos, plural. That was it. But so me and my wife were on vacation, and I knew we were going to be a little hungover the next day because we were going to a concert. And I was like, I want something to post tomorrow. So I told a funny story about, I worked at a roofing company, and my boss said, go online and buy coffee cups. And I was like, okay, I could go buy a dozen of whatever. And I said, do you care what I buy? And he said, no. And I was like, all right, I'm going to buy some funny coffee cups because it's a roofing company. You don't take it that seriously. And I went on eBay and I looked, and somebody had a Bad Dragon coffee mug. If you don't know what that is, do not Google it on anything related to work.
Yeah,
however,
don't do that at work.
However not safe for work you think it is more not safe. So I bought that and a couple other things. And when the coffee cups came in, I just put them through the dishwasher and put everything on the rack. And I'm telling this story in my video. And I'm drinking my coffee out of my cup that I always brought to work for myself. And one of the guys comes in holding the cup like this, like just comes in holding it. And he's like, what's this? I'm like, it's a coffee cup. And he goes, do you know what kind of coffee cup? I'm like, a black coffee cup? And he goes, do you know what Bad Dragon is? And I go, no, what is it? Just dead eye contact sitting at my desk. And he's just, well played. And he brings it back to the kitchen because he can't admit to me he knows what it is, but he knows that I know that he knows. It just, the story landed very well. It hit the internet at just the right time. But I do like to think I spin a good yard when I want to tell a funny story. And I
want you to know that, knowing the people who watch me, there is now going to be a nice little old lady. I'm not saying little old ladies ain't been around the block and got some experience, but maybe this one hasn't experienced this particular extreme of the internet. And you have my condolences when you inevitably do this, but one of them is going to go to that there Google, and they're going to type in Bad Dragon, and they're going to have several religious experiences, or moral. They're going to have some conundrums to figure out real quick.
I recommend, if you don't know, just roll with it. Just roll with knowing that you don't know.
Some things might not be for everybody's sensibilities to understand, and this one might be. And this one might also open some horizons. Now, I do want to take the time to point out that don't buy anything from Bad Dragon. They are a horrible company. They are not people we want to support with our money. And if you do happen to go Google it and you go, well, damn, not only did I not know this exists, but now I know it exists and I do have some sort of interest in it. There are other places where you can get similar items that are, morally acceptable to spend your money with. Fuck Bad Dragon.
100%. There are definitely more ethical sources, but it was still a great office prank. It's like, why are you at the Devil's Sacrament? How did you know I was at the Devil's Sacrament? Were you at the Devil's Sacrament?
Gotta love a good well-placed trap.
It was really fun watching my coworkers avoid the cup or unknowingly use the cup or knowingly use the cup. It was a good time.
Oh God. All right. Let's get into the good stuff here, because that's everybody wants to hear the politics. We've had the fun. We will inevitably have the more fun. But
it's okay. You can do dessert first. It's fine.
Yeah, how does a lizard man get into fighting fascism exactly?
So in real life, I've always had a real strong feeling about it. I'm like, always. On the internet, I was that lame guy posting about politics on MySpace when everyone was using it to like promote parties and hook up and listen to music. And I'm like, hey guys, we won't get to do these parties if they ban all these fun things. Like, I was that guy. And then when COVID hit, my social media feed was all doom and gloom and all Republicans and we're all going to die all the time. And I was like, we were all locked in our houses. I was like, I'm going to download TikTok. I'm not going to look at anything political. This is going to be my screw around app. And I downloaded TikTok, and I blocked political creators. I had to unblock creators that I'm now friends with in real life because I blocked them when I saw them on the feed. I was like, no. But one of my videos about animals, because my TikTok was a people who work in the reptile industry shitpost account, there was a conversation about how you have to have financial privilege to own a place to have animals because no one will rent to you with as many animals as I have. And somebody was defending landlords in my comments, and I was like, I can't allow this. And I said, hey, I used to be a property manager. Let me actually break down the math of why you're wrong. And it was poorly shot. The phone was propped up on my steering wheel, and I didn't turn the car off. So the background noise is horrendous. The echo is horrible. And it's like 9 minutes of me just talking. It was not the video to do numbers. It did
That's
numbers.
how it starts, though. That's fucking, for anybody who doesn't know, like, I got my first, content creation push on TikTok as well. And I never even meant to have TikTok. Like, I was that grumpy bastard. It's like, why would I have that app about that's nothing but kids dancing and doing dumb shit? That ain't for me. But then my, at the time, girlfriend, now wife, she kept sending me fucking TikToks, right? Like, just constantly. And I don't know if y'all know this, but if you don't have the TikTok app installed on your phone and you open one of those links, it just opens it in the browser. And sometimes it doesn't, and it's a little better now, but back then, this is 6 years ago, sometimes it wouldn't open to the right video, and like you could clearly tell from the thumbnail that you clicked to the whatever fucking video it pulled up. So you would then have to, like, in a browser, search for, I try to be, cognizant, pay attention to the things my again, now wife, but his girlfriend at the time sent me. So, I'm not just like, oh, I didn't see it. Whenever you go in, you search the fucking name, then you got to scroll through 6 weeks of fucking content because this is just a random goddamn TikTok that TikTok has served her from a month and a half ago. Finally, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to download this goddamn app. That way, when she sends the shit, it just works, and then I'll close it, and it'll be okay. And then I got a little out there past Pluto one night and started scrolling. You ever started scrolling? I did. And I realized that after you get about, an hour or 3 into training that algorithm, it stops showing you dumb shit and yo-ho and some fucking waves and some stupid ass facts that aren't even true about seas and shit. You actually get like content that is relevant to what you like. And then I get opened up like, oh wow, there's some really good niche content creators on here. There's types of content that you just don't see any other place. Because this is before Instagram had a real heavy Reels presence. Facebook didn't really have a good Reels presence at that point. Like the only real heavy short form creators were on TikTok. And that's all it was for me. And then I became a restaurant industry shit post account. Eventually I had a boss at the restaurant I worked at, and he tried to be one of the dude bros with all the employees and shit, but he really, really, really loved to go skiing. Some of you will understand what I just said. Some of you will not. But this motherfucker was constantly on the Alps. And so as much as he tried to be my friend, he pissed me off all the goddamn time. So I would get off work an hour and a half late after finding this motherfucker in the bathroom or somewhere. And I would go make fucking TikToks of just, fucking memes that were a thing at the time, just wanting to whoop his goddamn ass. And then one day, there's a dude by the name of Charlie Classic. If you are following me, you have probably been served Charlie at some point. He made a video that said something along the lines of, no country boy I ever knew back the blue. What the fuck is with all this bootlicking shit? And I stitched it. And went, you goddamn right, my entire life it's been raise hell, praise Dale, and yeehaw, fuck the law. And now we're sitting here having a discussion on the podcast that these wonderful people have helped me put on. And a whole lot of time has passed in between. And, we've had to put up with a whole bunch of bullshit, but I still don't know how we got here. But it's TikTok's fault. It's because my wife just kept annoying me with fucking, not even annoying me, I don't want to say annoying me, but just kept inundating me with short form videos. And now we're here. So it's kind of crazy how that shit works, ain't it?
Look, I'm not kidding you. I remember looking at my wife and saying, I just hit 200 followers on TikTok. That's crazy. Because it was a reptile shitpost account, reptile industry shitpost account, like very niche. And then it was literally like a week later, I'm like, well, I'm at 12,000. I guess I talk politics on TikTok right now. And Dude. She was like, of course you do. Of course you talk TikTok somewhere on the internet, honey. It was very like head patty moment.
Like, I'm not going to act like I didn't want to do content creation. I have been watching people on Twitch forever, YouTube. Like, I haven't watched TV and shit like that in a decade. I am a kid of content. I was an adult of content at least, right? And it's funny, I had like just through the shit post gotten up to the 1,000 followers, right? Like you need that magical 1,000 followers on TikTok to be able to go live. It's not the same anymore, but back in the day it was. And I was like, I'd already tried the Twitch thing once. Twitch by itself is like, you don't grow on Twitch. You have to have a social presence elsewhere. So I essentially streamed to myself and like maybe a friend or two, gave up on that. But then the TikTok thing, I got that 1,000 followers. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go live on there. Like, I see people just going live and, like, making it, right? My first live, I got 26 cents worth of the little gifts that they give and shit. And my wife, being the wonderful smart ass that she is, and I will always love her for this, went and made an image in, like, an editor she had to do herself. It wasn't no AI shit. Of a cake with 29 cents on the front of it. Said, congratulations on 29 cents and becoming a content creator. And then that video happened, and it wasn't but like a handful of months later, I crossed 100K. And like, I just remember the video I made about that. I was like, hey guys, I'm at like 97,000, and I just want y'all to know, if y'all will just help me go ahead and get this over that 100K mark, I promise to be the most insufferable motherfucker my wife has ever met in her entire life. And I probably was for about 15 minutes before she humbled the fuck out of me. That's an important part of the process.
When I hit 100K, I definitely walked around the house like. But my wife is chronically offline, so it had no effect.
See, it's funny. Like my wife, is obviously on TikTok and whatnot, and she gets served my content, but she's done got used to it. She got used to it very fast. Where like she don't give. I mean, she cares about the things I talk about, obviously. But as far as me and what I got going on, she don't give not one fuck, not two fucks, not a red fuck or a blue fuck.
I like when people will say to my wife, "Do you know what he's like on the internet?" And she's like, "Shockingly, he's the same at home."
That's about what the response mine will give is, yeah. And then she keeps me in line. Got to pop that head every now and then. Not pop, balloon pop.
Yeah.
That's why you got to have a partner. I mean, you don't have to have a partner, but I tell you, it does damn sure even you out a good bit to have someone around ride or die for you like that.
Every now and then I'll say something and it's like, okay. I'm like, oh yeah, back to real life.
So, Gecko, since we're talking about content creation and shit,
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to help me let the entire internet in on the best kept secret of content creators, specifically the men ones out there? Because you and I are both part of this secret.
Oh, that they're all short, except for
we're
like three
all
of them?
short as shit. Like
Every
I have
single one of
met dozens of creators at this point. I know 4 of them that are tall. 3 of them are my personal friends that I have collected along the way. And I ain't gonna name no names here, although I'm sure Gecko's over there going, "Don't do it, Andy. Don't do it, Andy." But there's one of them that I saw in real life for the first time. This is when I met Gecko for the first time too. But they were like, "Oh yeah, there's that guy," and I looked over and went, "Where's the fucking rest of him?" The legitimate words that come out of my mouth were, "Where in the fuck's the rest of him?"
I will tell you this. If you want to do creation and you are a guy and you are 5'9", the American average, you are taller than 75% of your peers, for sure.
I am 5.5 foot tall, 5'7" on a really good back pain day. And there are several folks I can see the back of their head when we are standing face to face. And that's not a left leaning, that's content creators in general.
That's 100% it's content creators. Like I hide how tall I am on the internet, not because I'm afraid of it, but I like to gaslight people by adjusting my height to gaslight them about how tall they are. You know how guys, this quick aside, you know how guys will be like, "I'm 6 foot," and they're 5'10"? I like to look at them and go, "Are you sure? Because I'm 5'5", and you're definitely not that much taller. Like, and I adjust my height, so I don't say.
That's fucking great.
But there was definitely one creator that I met one time, and we were all out at drinks after the event, and he got mouthy with someone, and me, who again, not taller than average, I literally picked him up by the waist and walked off and went, "We're not doing this right now."
I mean, so sometimes you just got.
We're not doing this right now.
King on a trip. One of my favorite stories. I was at a Comic-Con a couple years ago, so I hadn't even been doing this very very long, but I'm standing in line to get like a hamburger or something from the concession stand, and I hear, "Excuse me, are you pissed off, bartender?" And I look over, and there is a lady that is easily 6 foot tall by herself, and she's wearing somewhere between 6 and 9-inch platform heels for her cosplay. And I go, "Yes, ma'am, that would be me." And she goes, "I thought you'd be taller." And then she realized, like, I watched it register on her face what she had just said, and she goes, "Oh, I mean, you just seem like you give off this like big personality." I'm like, "It's cool, 5.5 foot tall. I don't worry about it at all. And yeah, I'm kind of loud, huh?" Funniest fucking interaction I've ever had with somebody as far as like the recognizing me in public thing.
Yeah, again, like I have had people tell me. I have people tell me, "You're shorter than I expected." Fine. I think it's the height in my animal room because I built it where I can touch it. So if an animal's running across it, I can just catch them. I get that. And I get, "You're fatter or you're not as fat as I thought you'd be." And I'm like,
neither one of those sentences is a compliment.
Yeah, no. "You're fatter than I thought you'd be, or you're not as fat as I thought you'd be." Neither one of them's nice. Also, just don't say it.
I'm still trying to figure out. We both have a mutual friend by the name of Proletariat Repair on the internet. He's really only over on TikTok. He doesn't live too far from me, so I know him in person too. He's like 6'3", He's communist Hagrid. Like, that is the best way to describe him to anybody. Like, PR is communist Hagrid in size and ideology, right? And for some reason, myself included, for about the first 5 or 6 months that he like was getting out there on TikTok and shit, the whole internet thought he was like 5 foot tall. And he got enough of those comments. One day he just like set his phone down and walked towards the door, and the door got smaller as he got bigger. And all of us were collectively like, oh, fuck. And then I met him in real life and was like, hi, sir. Nice to meet you. I will now be your pocket human.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that he films all of his videos where he's like, hey, guys. Like, he's right.
Oh, yeah, he's Zordon. He's fucking TikTok Zordon right up in the goddamn camera. He's also got the best bit on TikTok. You know, as a powerfully mustachioed man myself, you know, my shit connects to my bottom lip, but I got the beard around it. It don't really, you know, show off like that. But he don't have none of this. He's just got a really big mustache. And it has become a bit where he lets it go as long as it can, really. And he's going to trim it if people will stop asking fucking questions about it in the comment section. So now it's like there's an entire, I don't want to say cult, but a sect of people on TikTok that make sure to reset the timer every fucking day. It's going to be down to his kneecaps before he gets to trim it.
Every day. It is here for sure, for sure.
He eggs it on too, because like, I mean, I can do the same thing he does. Like, if you push it all in, you can make it do that. Normally he does this and it's spread out, but before he makes a video, he pushes that shit in and makes it just as obnoxious as possible. He is my favorite. I don't want to call him a contrarian. I mean, he is. He is, but
I'll allow
it's not even that. He's my favorite agitator on the internet. It's not even that he's a troll. He just does shit to fuck with people. And it works every time. He also won us that argument. I don't know if any of y'all remember, but there was an entire argument over whether 100 Americans could beat 100 British people in a fight, no guns, no nothing, which is already a stupid fucking question because you're never going to catch 100 Americans without a gun. But anyways, there was a much larger creator that made a video. It was like, you know how I know this question's bullshit and we would win every time? And then it just cuts to PR going, ICE can try and black bag me if they want to. I sleep with C4 up my ass. And then it cuts back to the guy and he's like, the British mind cannot comprehend that statement. And that's like a 6 out of 10 for around here.
100%.
What's funny is actually what won us that argument. In case
absolutely. What is funny about him being TikTok's best contrarian and he likes to mess with people, I'm really the only person that messes with him back and it drives him crazy.
You've got a whole fan account for him.
I do. I have a fan account where I troll him that I deny is mine, even though it's my name and even though my face is on it. He'll be like, yeah, your fan account. I'm like, that's not me. I just refuse to acknowledge that it's me. I will record a video talking about him and I'm like, that's not me.
See, friends, it's not okay to gaslight your partner. It's definitely not okay to gaslight the entire country if you're the president. But it's okay to have a little bit of gaslighting with your internet friends. Okay?
Yeah, a little gaslighting between guys is a treat.
You know, as a treat.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So there is something that having the two of us here together, I think we have to talk about, and it's probably a really good bow to put on all of this too. But you know, we talk about a lot of the fun sides of what we do up here, and we've talked a little bit about the shitty sides too. But I think the best thing that I have ever done with my platform, and I'm you know, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm willing to bet you're going to agree with me here, was last year when the fuckhead who runs this place decided he was going to cut snap off states that didn't surrender their voter rolls. And me and Gecko, and actually, funnily enough, the other guy that was supposed to be here today, and really, I'll give him his credit where it was due. It was his text message that started this whole ball rolling. 1 o'clock in the goddamn morning, we're all in a fucking call on Discord. Like, yo, this dude just cut off Snap, and people don't know what to do, and we don't know what to do, but we're not just gonna sit back and yell into our phones about it this time. Like, we got to do fucking something. And so we created something called the Creator Coalition. And this is where I want to give a lot of the props to Gecko and Gecko's wife, actually, specifically. I am very proud of my part in this. And to long story short, so far we have, because of you people watching this, we have raised almost $300,000,
which is over 3 million meals.
Yeah, over 3 million meals for Feeding America. And it's direct to Feeding America. It's not like we ever touched the money. We never took credit or never like had anything to do with the actual cash itself. We were just the go-between. But like, I really just, again, kind of just yelled into my phone about it and maybe yelled at a couple people to get the shit together a time or two. But Gecko really put in, and again, Mrs. Gecko put in a lot of the legwork to make that happen. They found Feeding America for us. Gecko and Mrs. Gecko held little, I don't know what's the word, meetings, I guess would be the word, where Mrs. Gecko put together a slideshow for us to explain like how to really do this like the right way,
how to engage with nonprofits properly.
It was a learning experience for all of us too, but it's legitimately my proudest moment as far as this whole internet thing goes. Like we fed 3 million people when our government wouldn't.
You know, like we were talking earlier, I said I made a video that was everything wrong, but it was right place, right time. We were right place, right time, and we were right place, right time, and a bunch of people wanted to do good, not just content creators. Like the people that support and give you the follower base to be a content creator. They all wanted to do good, and it was lightning in a bottle, because we've done a couple other, like we've done a second fundraiser since. I was prepping a third to come out this month, but it didn't happen. So I'm going to figure out how we're going to handle that going forward. But that one was by far the best one. But everyone was mad. What do you mean we're not feeding the needy? And we were like, actually, this organization feeds needy people in every zip code in America. We can just give them money.
So that's part of why I brought this up. And I brought this up with Robert too, not this specific situation, but the same concept of, me, you, Robert, Luke, everybody I've had on the show so far, and a lot of us, we're just another white dude with a mic, right? And Lord knows the internet doesn't necessarily need another white dude with a mic, but I think we are serving a purpose because we take these moments, and this is something that I want people to get out of watching these, and understanding that all it takes is one person, standing up and saying something, one person championing a thing to make great change happen. We might have had platforms. I mean, we did and we do and whatnot, but that happened because 3 or 4 friends were sitting in a Discord call angry. And and then a whole bunch of people were at their house fucking angry. And all it took was us going, hey, you're angry, direct that anger here. This is you kind of, I think you that told me this to take this thought process. Is people want to help, you just have to tell them how sometimes.
For sure. And the math was right. Like, you're angry, $5 is 50 meals right there. I actually think probably the best video we did that came out for our Feeding America thing was actually someone critiquing us, saying, how's this money going to work? How's this? How's that? Like, and creators sometimes take in money and it disappears. And I responded in the comments and I said, here's the answers. I think that video did us the most good. Somebody checking us going, why are we seeing all these creators asking for money right now? And I was like, here's how it works. And that person, to their credit, this was when you could pin comments. They pinned the comment and said, I've been corrected. That video did us so good. To you saying a bunch of white guys, if you don't mind, I have something I'd like to add to that.
Go for it.
4 or 5 years ago, I put on a symposium, like a super nerdy scientific gathering about geckos. And when we announced the first list of speakers, everyone that was a speaker was a man. Everyone that was a speaker was a man. And somebody rightfully critiqued us and said, why are all of your speakers straight white men? And I responded and I said, hey, first off, you can tell they're not all white if you look. Like, just look at what they look like. Not all of them are white. I'm like, I can guarantee you not all of them are straight, but I'm not outing anybody. I'm like, and there's a really important conversation to be had here, because in our initial ask, our initial ask of speakers was around a third women. Like, it was around a third women, and there was one non-binary person that were asked. And I said that, I'm like, I'm not naming anybody because I don't want anyone to get a hard time. I don't want anyone to get a hard time for not saying yes. I'm like, our initial ask was a third women, which is roughly representative of what the industry is like, one non-binary person and a bunch of dudes. And dudes are who said yes. And there's an important conversation about dudes being taught we're allowed to take up space and women being taught to be small. I'm like, but this is the thing. And actually, thankfully, the first person we asked to speak was a woman and said, I know I'm the first person they asked, period. I said no. And I was like, thank you for responding. And then we had a really, like, I think it's important to talk about a bunch of white guys. We're taught we take up space. We're taught that our voices matter. You know what I mean? And I love trying to change that. But in order to try and change it, I also need to be a white guy with a voice, which means I'm another white guy with a voice.
We have to use the privilege that we are given in a positive way. And I'm so glad that doing this thing that I've been able to find friends like you and PR and Trev that know they have this inherent ability to take up space and have decided to weaponize it against people taking up way too much goddamn space for themselves.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I try to, me personally, I try to always amplify the other voices that don't necessarily get as much space. But I always try to, acknowledge that there are better people that could be in the spot, but I'm here, so I'm going to do the best with it I can,
I get critiqued regularly for speaking about things I see in the Black community because I'm a tourist in the community. I grew up near the community, but not in it, obviously. And people go, well, who are you to say something? I go, sometimes people are only going to listen if the person looks like me. Sometimes people are only going to listen if the person looks like me. And
that
has
also unfortunately been a reoccurring theme on this show, is that sometimes we have to say these things because they only listen if it looks and sounds like them. And it's fucking sad, and we need to change that ideology, but we have to do these steps first.
Correct. Because if they're not listening, you can't change it. Like,
exactly. All right. Well, it has been wonderful to have you on, Gecko. Thank you so much for picking up the phone when I needed somebody real fast. So that's real friendship for you right there, y'all. I called this man out the blue and was like, I need you for like an hour. Are you free? And he wasn't, but he made himself free for us. So, but we're going to continue to just have random buddies of mine on here. And they're, Gecko is a very well-established content creator in his own right. But, I just mean people that might not necessarily fit the theme of the thing. So while this doesn't necessarily go hand in hand with the rest of this episode, I do want y'all to take a lesson from this part too. And that it's never hopeless. And because Gecko also has kind of taught me this whole, like, sometimes I get frustrated with voting too. But Gecko keeps me on this. If it didn't fucking matter, why are they spending so much goddamn time, money, and effort on it? And that kind of keeps me through. And I want to keep y'all with, like, if you feel like you can't do anything and you're just one person and nothing that you do is going to matter, I want you to remember that 4 dudes sitting in a Discord call were capable of getting 3 million people fed just because they were tired and fed up, and broadcasted that they were tired and fed up to a whole bunch of other tired and fed up motherfuckers. It is never not worth it to do something to fight back.
Sorry I cut you off there, by the way. One of the things I heard really early on when I was doing social advocacy work is nobody changes the world 1 million people at a time. A few people do, but nobody really does. But everybody can change the world one person at a time. And
I love that.
If you set your goal at, like, I'm not going to sway everyone in my state. I'm not going to sway everyone in my city. But if I sway one person in my neighborhood and one person who talks to me when I'm out at dinner and one person that talks to me when I'm walking my dog and I'm wearing a political shirt, that's how, if everyone does that, if everyone changes one mind, we change the world.
Goddamn right. All right, Peculiar Lizard Man. Tell all the people where they can find you all over them there interwebs real quick. This is your moment to plug yourself for me, please, friend.
Perfect, wonderful. I am That Weird Gecko Guy everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. You want to find me on Tumblr? I am there. I've been That Weird Gecko Guy on the internet for decades. I make videos mostly for TikTok, but also the Meta apps and YouTube. And we do live stream. We, the group of us, live stream most nights of the week. I tell everyone it's kind of like a leftist oasis. Leftist people come through and chill and decompress and like revitalize themselves after a day of being in the trenches and hearing, why are brown people should be people with rights? Like, we get together and we kibitz and socialize, and I've wavered on how important it is, but it is actually a service for the leftist community, because really big name leftists have told me and Bartender, we watch you guys to recharge. So like, feel free to come through and just see leftists kind of having a good time and talking politics, but like,
but don't tell us what you're talking about, because I'll fucking yell at you. I've done it like a bunch of fucking times. I'm not a seal. I will not bark for you. All right, well, this is where we're going to wrap it up. Gecko, I have invited every single person that's been up here so far to do this with me, so you are more than welcome to go along. You already know how this part go. Thank you all so very much for watching this far. I hope you have a wonderful day, or at least the one you voted for deserved. I just need you to do me one favor, and that would be keep them motherfucking boots out of your motherfucking mouth. And remember that the golden rule will always remain, yeehaw, fuck the law. I love y'all.
See you down the line.
Truth shots.
Hey there, folks. POB behind the scenes here. Thank you so very much for sticking around to the end. I hope you enjoyed everything you saw. If you'd like to see some more, you can click that video right there, and it'll get you back into the bar, into the seat, ready to hear all the fun and fuckery we get up to. Also, if you really enjoyed it and you'd like to support, feel free to check out the Substack, the Patreon, or any and all socials. We're everywhere, y'all. And let us know what you'd like to see in the future in the comments. See y'all next week.